It's been incredibly difficult. So we have 10 venues in the Melbourne CBD. Without that foot traffic, we're just not selling any coffee.
It's been a tough 18 months for David Macon and his staff.
So although it's 200 odd days of lockdown, actually under restrictions, it's just about been all of the last year and a half to 2 years. We've had some sort of restriction placed on our cafes in the city.
He's reopening his cafes as Melbourne comes out of lockdown.
Part of the problem with the lockdowns in the CBD is even when you come out of a lockdown, it comes with a number of trailing restrictions around density requirements, wearing masks indoors.
Across Australia, COVID-19 lockdowns have pushed workers out of CBD offices. Even as restrictions ease, working from home has become an attractive option for many seeking more time and less of a commute. Cafe owner David Macon is realistic.
We're planning on being at 70% turnover in 2022, and then we'd imagine it's probably going to scale back over about sort of 3 years. We'd probably catch 10% per annum, so it's actually going to be a 6-year recovery from start to finish.
Businesses are grappling with what working from home means for their offices, and cities are grappling with what that means for the traditional CBD.
So we're in Sydney CBD, Margaret Street, so it's just a couple of 100 metres from the Harbour Bridge, just right next to Wynyard Station. I think it's been really devastating when I've come into the city and seen it as a ghost town.
Catherine McConnell's business helps people with finance for solar and home projects. She employs almost 200 staff.
So prior to COVID, we got some additional office space here as well to cater for the growing team.
Some staff are slowly returning to the office, especially for teamwork.
And is this first time in the office, Will, or just...
But others aren't as keen.
61% of our people told us that they wanted to return to the office 2 days or less. I think one of the big reasons is that people feel they can be more productive with their time by working from home. One of the other reasons is they're able to better balance their life.
The business is now reassessing how much office space it needs.
Where we end up is we will continue to have a presence in the city and we'll continue to grow our footprint. But I think it's going to be a bit of a period of, thinking through, what that ratio is.
CBDs are not dead. Yes, some more people will work from home in the future than what they did in the past, but that doesn't mean that CBDs are dead, far from it. There is still a need to connect and collaborate and build culture, and those things can be done better when you're face-to-face.
Urban strategist Stephen Burgess says CBDs will need to evolve.
Now, they won't die, but they'll change, and certainly for a little bit they'll probably struggle.
Property Council figures show small cities that were largely shielded from the pandemic were at 90% of their pre-COVID office occupancy levels in September. Perth, Adelaide and Brisbane office workers hadn't returned in such great numbers. Offices in locked-down CBDs were, understandably, almost empty.
I think Sydney and Melbourne will get over these lockdowns and get back up to that 80 or 90% occupancy. The challenge is how fast we do that.
After Sydney's first lockdown, office occupancy rates took almost a year to get to 70%. Melbourne never got over 50%. The Property Council says last year there wasn't enough pressure on public sector workers to return to the office.
This is a very important thing that federal and state and local governments can do. They can lead by example.
The Victorian Public Service will return to a flexible working policy when the state hits 90% vaccination, starting with the expectation that workers will be in the office 3 days a week. The New South Wales government says remote working arrangements will vary between its public sector agencies. The number of vacant offices has also risen to more than 10%.
But in historic terms, that is still below historic levels. Vacancies may well increase further, but certainly this is not crisis levels of vacancies, and we don't have empty office buildings, ghost buildings in our CBDs.
The City of Melbourne is running a campaign to attract more young people to its empty apartments and focusing on events and public art. The City of Sydney is creating more pedestrian zones and public space. Stephen Burgess says there will still be an impact for CBD businesses like cafes and barbers if office workers only come back a few days a week.
And that's, the difference between economics and finance. Like, economically we'll survive and those cities will transition, but financially there's going to be some people short-term that suffer.
Catherine McConnell believes even if people aren't in the office every day, when they do come in, they'll make the most of their CBD.
I do think it'll be used more intensively. I think that the cafes will be used. I think after work people will be, going for a drink with friends. And so I think it will be vibrant.
All business owners out there, we have to be optimistic. We have to be looking forward. We always think that we're going to come out of this. And that's the attitude we've probably had to have for the last 2 years, is that we will survive.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.